Y'all ain't noticed since Pooh Shiesty been home, ain't been no 1017 repping. It ain't been no shouting out Gucci Man and I'm 1017 this and Gucci Man this and Gucci Man that. Ain't none of that.
What if the same person who helped build your career is the same person you're now exposing? After years behind bars, Pooh Shiesty just came home, and instead of celebrating 1017, he dropped a message that has fans questioning everything about Gucci Mane and what really goes on behind the scenes. Is this loyalty gone wrong, or business turned into betrayal? Pooh Shiesty, one of Memphis's most influential rap voices, known for pulling in millions of streams and putting 1017 records back in the spotlight, just dropped a statement that shook the hip-hop world. After spending several years incarcerated, he returned home claiming that the label which once promised him everything had now given him nothing. And at the heart of this situation, reportedly none other than Gucci Mane himself. This isn't just your average artist versus label drama. This story runs deep. It's about loyalty, respect, legacy, and a serious amount of money. Allegedly, there's tension that's been building behind the scenes for years, and fans everywhere are buzzing about what really went down. People are saying this could turn into one of the biggest disputes the Memphis rap scene has seen in a long time. Let's rewind for a second and break it all down. To understand the weight of what's happening now, you've got to know who Pooh Shiesty really is and what he meant to 1017 Records back in 2020. He wasn't just another name on the roster, he was the label's rising star. When his breakout hit Back in Blood featuring Lil Durk took off, it became a nationwide anthem, collecting hundreds of millions of streams and turning Pooh into one of the most talked about artists in hip-hop almost overnight. His sound had that real Memphis flavor, raw, confident, and authentic, and fans connected with it instantly. His debut mixtape, Shiesty Season, went platinum, bringing new life to Gucci Mane's label and restoring its relevance in the industry. Pooh Shiesty wasn't just dropping hits, he was helping rebuild an empire. But then, in late 2021, everything shifted. Pooh Shiesty faced legal troubles that resulted in a federal sentence. For most artists, that kind of setback would end their career, but for Pooh, something surprising happened. His following only grew stronger. Supporters continued streaming his music, keeping his name alive while he was away. Now that he's back, the energy surrounding him is louder than ever, and his next move could change everything. Even while he was away, Pooh Shiesty's music kept pulling in major numbers, and the anticipation for his return kept building. Streams stayed strong, fans stayed loyal, and social media conversations never slowed down. During that time, Gucci Mane publicly spoke about missing him and looking forward to his return, saying that 1017 Records was holding things down for their standout artist. At one point, Gucci reportedly restructured much of the label's roster, keeping only a small circle of artists, including Pooh Shiesty and Fugiano. From the outside, it looked like solid loyalty. But as recent discussions suggest, some insiders claim the private reality may not have fully matched the public image. Let's go back to when everything seemed perfectly aligned. When Pooh Shiesty first signed to 1017 Records, it looked like a powerful partnership in the making. Gucci Mane, a respected figure in Southern hip-hop, linking up with a rising Memphis talent who had serious momentum. Pooh brought a raw, direct energy that reminded many fans of Gucci's earlier sound, while Gucci provided industry experience, connections, and visibility. On paper, it made sense. In interviews and on social media, Pooh consistently represented 1017. He shouted out the label, praised Gucci as a mentor, and proudly wore the 1017 chain. The bond appeared strong and rooted in mutual respect. At the time, it felt like more than business. It looked personal. And the opportunity was major. Before signing, Pooh Shiesty was building his name locally, but after joining 1017, his platform expanded fast. He began performing at larger venues, collaborating with well-known artists, and gaining national exposure. The partnership seemed to benefit both sides. However, according to industry chatter, not everything behind the scenes was smooth. Even before his legal situation unfolded, there were reported whispers about contract questions and business disagreements. Sources have suggested that there may have been discussions about compensation and expectations, though nothing was publicly confirmed at the time. Importantly, these types of disputes are not uncommon in the music industry and often stay private. Now, fast forward to 2025, Pooh Shiesty is officially home. With fans watching closely and conversations resurfacing, attention has shifted to what really happened behind closed doors and what this next chapter could mean for everyone involved. The hip-hop world was watching closely, waiting to see what would happen next. Fans wondered if Pooh Shiesty would step right back into the spotlight. Would 1017 Records celebrate his return in a big way? Would Gucci Mane publicly welcome him back and lay out a bold new plan for the future? According to reports, the outcome didn't unfold the way many expected.
Shortly after his release, Pooh Shiesty shared a message on social media that quickly sparked conversation. In the post, he suggested that when he returned home, it was mainly his family and longtime supporters who stood by him. He stated that he didn't feel significant support from labels, artists, or certain industry connections. While he did not mention anyone by name, fans immediately began speculating about who he may have been referring to. Given his known affiliation with 1017 Records, many observers assumed the message was connected to that partnership. However, it is important to note that no direct accusations were made publicly. The situation remains based largely on interpretation and reported insider perspectives. Industry sources have suggested that the core issue may revolve around business negotiations. When Pooh Shiesty initially signed his deal, he was an emerging artist, building his reputation. By the time he completed his sentence, his catalog had grown significantly, his debut project had achieved platinum status, and his fan base had expanded. From a business standpoint, his market value appeared to have increased. As is common in the music industry, contract renewals often reflect an artist's current success and commercial standing. According to reports circulating within industry circles, there may have been differences in how both sides evaluated that value. Some sources claim that the financial terms discussed during renegotiation did not align with Pooh Shiesty's perceived growth as an artist. These claims, however, have not been publicly confirmed by either party. What seems clear is that Pooh Shiesty was not willing to move forward with terms he felt matched his position in the industry. While details remain private, the situation highlights a broader issue many artists face: balancing loyalty, business, and long-term career strategy. As fans continue to watch from the sidelines, the bigger question remains: can both sides find common ground, or is this the beginning of a major shift in the 1017 story? By the time Pooh Shiesty returned, many observers believed he had a clearer understanding of his market value. His streaming numbers were public, his fan support remained strong, and his brand had grown significantly. From that perspective, it appeared he approached new business discussions with more confidence than when he first signed as a rising artist. Reports suggest that when contract conversations took place, there may have been disagreements over financial terms. While no official details have been released, industry chatter indicates that Pooh Shiesty was not satisfied with the reported offers. Since his return, fans have also noticed a shift. He has not publicly mentioned 1017 Records in the same way he once did. There have been no visible shoutouts, no label promotion and interviews, and no public displays of affiliation that were once common. For someone who previously represented the brand so strongly, that silence has stood out to supporters. Of course, silence can mean many things, and neither side has issued a detailed public explanation. In a social media post, Pooh Shiesty suggested that he did not receive much visible support from industry figures after coming home, describing his family and longtime friends as his primary support system. He did not name anyone directly, and no formal statements were made in response. As with many situations in the music business, much of the conversation has been shaped by interpretation rather than confirmed facts. There is also a more personal layer to the story involving his cousin, Big Scarr, another artist affiliated with 1017 Records. In December 2022, Big Scarr tragically passed away at the age of 22. His passing deeply affected the Memphis hip-hop community and his family. For Pooh Shiesty, who was still serving his sentence at the time, the loss was especially painful. Following Big Scarr's passing, public reports and family statements raised questions about how certain matters were handled, including discussions about label property. Different sides have offered differing accounts, and no official documentation has been publicly presented to clarify every detail. What is clear is that emotions were high, and the situation added strain to an already complicated relationship. Taken together, these business disagreements and personal hardships appear to have created distance between the artist and the label. As fans continue to watch closely, many are waiting to see whether time will bring resolution or a permanent split. After Big Scarr's passing, tensions appeared to rise publicly. Big Scarr's brother shared statements on social media expressing frustration about how certain matters were handled. In his posts, he alleged that attempts to reach out for assistance were unsuccessful and criticized what he described as a lack of support. These claims quickly circulated online, sparking debate among fans. It is important to note that these were personal statements shared on social platforms, and no formal documentation has been released confirming the full details of those exchanges. From an outside perspective, the situation added emotional weight to an already complicated relationship. For Pooh Shiesty, who was still serving his sentence at the time, the loss of his cousin was significant. Observers have suggested that seeing public disagreements involving his family may have deepened existing tensions. While much of this remains based on reported accounts and online commentary, the overlap between business and personal matters appeared to make the situation more sensitive.
Another reported factor involves communication within the label's leadership structure. Multiple media outlets and online sources have claimed that Gucci Mane's wife, Keisha Kawor, plays an active role in managing certain aspects of his business operations, including communications and brand oversight. In the music industry, it is not uncommon for spouses or close family members to take on management responsibilities. However, some commentators have suggested that this dynamic can sometimes complicate direct artist-to-executive conversations. According to these reports, artists seeking to connect with Gucci Mane may go through established management channels, which could include his wife or other representatives. Supporters of this structure view it as organized business management. Critics argue that it may create additional layers between artists and decision-makers. As with many industry setups, perspectives differ depending on who is speaking. For Pooh Shiesty, if direct communication was important in resolving concerns, navigating that structure may have presented challenges. That said, neither side has publicly confirmed specific conversations or attempts to resolve matters privately. Much of the narrative has been shaped by public perception rather than official statements. Overall, the combination of personal loss, public commentary, and reported business disagreements has created a complicated backdrop. Whether these issues can be resolved through professional dialogue remains to be seen, but the situation clearly extends beyond a simple contract discussion and into deeper questions about trust, communication, and leadership within a major record label. According to many observers, Pooh Shiesty may now see his position in the industry very differently than when he first signed his deal. Early in his career, he benefited from the platform, connections, and promotional support that came with being part of 1017 Records. At that stage, the partnership appeared mutually beneficial, and he often expressed appreciation for the opportunity. However, circumstances have changed. Since his breakout success, Pooh Shiesty has built a strong fan base, consistent streaming numbers, and a recognizable brand value. His music continues to perform well, and his name alone generates conversation online. From a business standpoint, some analysts suggest that this level of visibility gives him more leverage than he had at the start of his career. Industry commentators have pointed out that artists in similar positions often reassess what they need from a label. Distribution services are widely available through multiple companies, and independent pathways have become more common in recent years. Marketing support, collaborations, and visibility can sometimes be secured through partnerships rather than long-term contracts. These broader shifts in the music business may play a role in how Pooh Shiesty evaluates his next steps. Reports indicate that during contract renewal discussions, there may have been differences in how both sides viewed his current value. While no official numbers have been made public, some sources claim that expectations did not align. If accurate, that type of disagreement would not be unusual in the entertainment industry, where renegotiations often reflect evolving market positions. What seems evident is that Pooh Shiesty has not publicly promoted 1017 Records in the way he once did. Fans have interpreted this as a sign of distance, though neither side has issued a detailed statement clarifying the status of their relationship. Without confirmed information, much of the narrative remains speculative. Looking ahead, several outcomes are possible. The situation could be resolved privately through new agreements. Both parties could choose to move forward separately without public conflict. Or, if tensions continued to surface online, the conversation could become more visible.
However, any suggestion of public disputes or artistic exchanges remains hypothetical at this stage. For 1017 Records, maintaining a strong reputation with artists is important for long-term success. For Pooh Shiesty, making strategic career decisions that reflect his current standing is equally important. As the industry watches closely, the next move from either side could shape not only their partnership, but also how similar situations are handled across hip-hop moving forward. Some fans have openly questioned what this situation means for trust within a label structure. Online discussions have included opinions suggesting that if a flagship artist feels unsupported, it could raise concerns for others considering similar partnerships. These reactions reflect public perception, not confirmed internal details, but perception can still influence reputation in the music industry. For Pooh Shiesty, many observers believe the issue centers on respect and fair compensation. From that viewpoint, it is about ensuring that his current success is reflected in any future agreement. For Gucci Mane, analysts suggest the stakes involve brand legacy and the long-term strength of 1017 Records. As the founder of the label, how this matter is handled could shape how artists and executives view the company moving forward. More broadly, this situation has sparked conversations about how record deals evolve over time. It is common for emerging artists to sign contracts early in their career when they're focused primarily on gaining exposure. At that stage, opportunities outweigh long-term financial considerations. However, as artists grow, gain experience, and better understand the business side of music, they often reassess those early agreements. Industry experts frequently note that strong labels adapt when their artists' value increases. Renegotiations, revised terms, and new partnership models are part of maintaining long-term professional relationships. When handled transparently and collaboratively, these transitions can strengthen loyalty. When expectations differ, however, misunderstandings can arise.
In this case, the public conversation is centered on whether both sides see the partnership the same way today as they did at the beginning. Without official statements detailing the contract discussions, the specifics remain private. What is visible, however, is the shift in public alignment and the questions it has generated. There is also the broader competitive landscape to consider. Record labels rely on reputation to attract emerging talent. If artists perceive instability or unresolved disputes, it can influence decision-making. On the other hand, if leadership demonstrates adaptability and fairness, it can reinforce credibility. Ultimately, this moment represents an important crossroads. Gucci Mane has the opportunity to clarify his label's direction and values. Pooh Shiesty has the opportunity to determine the business structure that best supports his next chapter. Whether they move forward together or separately, the decisions made now could significantly shape both careers and the perception of 1017 Records in the years ahead. When you step back and look at the full timeline, many fans believe the partnership between Pooh Shiesty and Gucci Mane appears to be at a serious crossroads. What once looked like a strong mentor and artist alliance now seems, at least publicly, to be strained. Supporters online have described the situation as one involving disappointment, unresolved business concerns, and fading trust. Of course, much of this is based on public statements and speculation, rather than detailed confirmations from either side. After returning home, Pooh Shiesty shared that he felt limited industry support, emphasizing that his family and close circle stood by him the most. Around the same time, reports circulated about contract renegotiation discussions that may not have aligned with his expectations. While no official figures or agreements have been made public, commentators have suggested that differences in valuation could be at the center of the tension. The situation involving his late cousin, Big Scarr, also added emotional weight to the narrative. Public comments from family members and online reactions intensified the spotlight. However, as with many high-profile disputes, the full context remains known only to those directly involved. What is clear is that Pooh Shiesty has not publicly promoted 1017 Records in the way he once did. Fans have noticed the absence of label references and have interpreted it as a sign of distance. Whether that signals a permanent split or simply a private business transition is still uncertain. So where does this go from here?
Will the two sides resolve matters quietly behind the scenes? Could future music address the situation more directly? Or will both parties simply move forward on separate paths without further public commentary? At this point, everything remains in the realm of possibility, and the outcome could shape not only their careers, but also conversations about artist-label relationships across hip-hop. What do you think? Can this partnership be repaired, or is it truly the end of an era? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you want more breakdowns like this, make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next update.